What up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you guys are doing good. Hopefully you guys are feeling good. Today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about some alternative methods other than using glyphosate to kill off the weeds before you plant your summer food plots. This has always been a hot topic and a controversial topic, but right now we're at the property. I'm going to discuss a plan that we're going to execute here in the next 1 to 2 weeks, and that's going to be planting our spring summer food plots. Now, right over this way is actually about 3/4 of an acre of a clover food plot. We actually planted this clover food plot next weekend of last year. So 1 week from now was last year, 2018. We planted that clover food plot. You can see it came up very, very well. It's about 6 inches tall right now. We actually set a utilization cage over here, and I'm going to take you over here and show you this utilization cage and show you the browse pressure that the plot is actually receiving. Now we're walking in this plot. It's a beautiful, beautiful clover plot, and there's actually, as you can see, there's a few plants of goldenrod in there. There's a little bit of grass, but honestly, I'm not concerned with that because the grasses are not overtaking the plot. You know, it's not smothering it out, and honestly, I could probably just come in here and mow it down. But do you really have to? Because a lot of people don't realize is weeds is food. That's a thing that I don't think people understand, is that weeds are food. Weeds become palatable at different times of the year, just like, you know, different species of plants that you plant become different palatable at different times of the year. And just because there's weeds in your plot doesn't mean you have to add glyphosate and kill it off. There's ragweed in here, there's some grasses, there's a little bit of goldenrod. I'm not concerned about it because we'll come through here, we'll spray this whole plot with antler grow, make this whole plot more nutritious, and the deer eat the weeds. They'll keep it mowed down on their own. There's a bunch of different products that you could come through here with, like Slay and Arrest, you know, and all that stuff, and come through here and spray. But like I said, honestly, I'm not concerned about it. Food plots don't have to look like a picture that's on a postcard. Understand that. Deer don't care what a food plot looks like. As long as that plant is palatable and nutritious, they'll eat it regardless of what it looks like, guys. Here is the utilization cage that you guys seen us put in. As you can see, the inside of the cage is actually probably about 3 to 4 inches taller than the outside of the cage. I'll keep you guys updated throughout the rest of the spring and summer, and we'll see how tall we can actually get the clover. So with this plot, we're not even going to touch it. All we're going to do is we'll continue to spray this plot with antler grow and the NPK mix. We came through about 2 weeks ago and sprayed it with just the antler grow at a 1/2 ounce, but we'll come back later in the next 2 weeks or so and we'll give it the full touch. Next plot, we're coming up. Okay, now this next plot we're standing in, this is a 3-acre field that's actually sectioned off. We're going to be putting walls in and things like that to divide the plots up. As you can see, there's some exposed soil back through here. There's a lot of clovers coming up because when we planted our brassicas last fall, we threw in a few pounds of clovers. That way they would come up in the spring for turkey season, and a lot of them have came up. There is some goldenrod coming up in here as well. Not worried about it. This plot is actually going to get turned here in about 2 weeks, and what we're going to do is we're going to come through with the ferminator. We're going to disc all this up, and we're going to be planting a mixture of sunflowers, buckwheat, and iron clay peas. We're going to overseed at an extra poundage than what's required, and we'll just turn all this green manure back into the soil. Won't be a big deal. The buckwheat and everything will overtake the weeds. It'll shadow them out, and we won't have a weed issue, you know, during the spring and summer. And then come the fall, that'll be a different scenario, which I'll explain later in the year, so be sure to follow along. Now, the last plot here, that's a different situation. This last plot, there's a ton of clovers in here, but I shouldn't say a ton, there's some, but it is a lot of weeds in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to experiment this year, and this 1 acre plot that we're standing, you can see it is full of weeds and everything like that. I would turn this in, okay, but I want to plant this in a perennial clover. So when you're planting perennials, I'm not 100% against glyphosate. I feel like we should use less, but in this situation, when I'm planting a perennial, I'm going to come back through and experiment with a vinegar salt solution to kill this off, because if I don't kill this off, then when I go to plant my clovers and everything, then yes, the weeds and everything will probably outtake the clover. And if you're spending the money to, you know, plant a food plot, especially a perennial, you want your money's worth, right? So you don't want all weeds to come up. You do want your clovers or whatever it is that you plant to actually come up. So what we're going to do, like I mentioned, it's almost 1 acre. We're going to come through with vinegar and salt solution, and probably add a little bit of dish detergent to use that as a surfactant to kill this off. It'll be a lot safer than using glyphosate. We're going to test it out, see what happens. We're going to actually spray this tomorrow, and we'll come back in about a week or two, show you guys the results and see what happens. But that'll be a lot safer than glyphosate. There's a lot of issues with it, you know. I don't want to make the whole, you know, video about glyphosate, but I highly encourage you to find alternative methods and using that. Perennial plots, perennial plots, a little bit different of a scenario, you know. So like I said, I'm not 100% against it, but try to use a little bit less. We'll keep you guys updated on this. And then an easy way to prevent weeds, like I mentioned in the other plot, is to overseed a little bit. Add the extra seed to outtake the weeds out. It'll shadow them out. So that's a good way to do that, to prevent a lot of weeds from growing. I've done it before, works great. But remember, weeds is food. Food plots don't have to look like a picture on a postcard, and deer actually eat weeds, guys. So especially turkeys, you know. But like I said, there's different scenarios. Each situation's different. The perennial plots, you know, I would probably kill them off. Depends on your situation. It really does depend. And I'll take you over to this kill plot here and show you what we got going on. Okay, this plot here actually did not do so hot last year. We came through. It's only roughly about, I would say, 1/8 of an acre. Didn't do too well. We redid our soil samples and everything. pH was really low. We came back, added a bunch of lime to it. But this year, we're going to be planting some buckwheat in here as well to help build that soil. We'll probably throw in some iron clay peas as well, just on this little plot. We're not going to touch it. We're not going to kill it off. We'll just take this goldenrod. There's a little bit of clovers in here as well, and a little bit of grasses. We're just going to turn this one in and overseed, plant extra than what it actually requires. So if buckwheat, say, is 50 pounds an acre, we'll do like 60 pounds an acre or 70 pounds an acre. That'll help out, you know, overshadow the weeds a little bit. So again, that's the plan. We will be executing this plan in roughly about, I want to say, 1 to 2 weeks, depending on the weather we have coming up over the next couple weekends. Keep you guys updated. Hopefully this explains or gives you a little bit of alternative methods to using glyphosate, or just literally turning and burning. You guys can turn the plot over and over and over again, kill those weeds off, let them bake in the sun. Chris has done it a bunch. You know, there's definitely alternative methods to doing it. I understand when we plant a food plot that in your mind it has to look like a picture on a postcard, and it just doesn't. Deer eat weeds. If the weeds are literally overtaking the entire plot, then yeah, you have to do something, because like I said, you want to get your money's worth. When you plant something, you want whatever it is that you plant, you want it to thrive, right? So everything's situational, but use less glyphosate. Your herd will be healthier, the deer will be healthier, turkeys will be, don't kill everything, because it's turkey food. So hopefully this helps you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment down below, give the video a thumbs up. Until next time, guys, I'll see ya.